Hello, it's Andy Graham of the Ask Andy Show. I'm in Vilcabamba, Ecuador. I've traveled non-stop for 16 plus years and went to 90 plus countries. I'm trying to show you, there's a mountain range kind of around here. We're kind of in a valley. We're at 1,500 meters, or about 5,000 feet above sea level. About the perfect climate on the planet. Okay, Jeffrey C. Hi Andy, this is Jeffrey Christian again. I have asked you a few questions in the past. This time my question is, what advice would you have given yourself 20 years ago? What advice would I have given myself 25 years ago? Back when you were still living in the life in the USA after 16 plus years of constant travel, how do you think your mind and perspectives have changed the most? By the way, IMHO, I finally figured out, in my humble opinion. He says it stands for in my humble opinion. Also, he wanted to point out a couple days ago that he prefers this ITA matrix software. I use that too, Jeff, but the problem is that it's really a little bit more complicated than the average person can use. So I sort of leave it out of the mix sometimes. But I don't just use two, I use many. Okay, but he's probably referring to the rental car thing. Okay, but my perspectives have changed a lot since I left the United States. And if I was talking to a 20-year-old, I often tell them, I said, hey, avoid work as long as possible, because really I think a 20-year-old going to college, college is good, because not because of the education, it's because of the people that you meet in college and the perspective that you're no longer the big shot. College sort of takes the high school football stars, the quarterback of the team, and everybody that's the top of the level, and you get to university and you find out everybody's the same. So that takes and gives you humility. So going to university is a great thing. As far as getting out of university with a job and going to work, I say avoid it as long as possible. When you're 22, graduating from university, and you have your whole rest of your life, that you have the energy, the aptitude, the ability, the mindset, and the thing to travel and do anything you want to do. And working and signing up for a 40-hour-a-week job for the next 35 years is insanity. It just means all you care about is money. So if all you care about is money, yeah, you go do this. Obviously, if you get married real quick, you're going to have this need to procreate and have babies. But the idea that money is the end of all things, I also would say, is never take a job. I would never take a job ever that made me move to be where the job is. I would choose the location on the planet I want to live, and I would live there. I really despise the fact that some of my nieces and nephews are moving around the world because of the job. I think they should be living where they want to live, and make a job there in a way. I mean, some of them have to, because one's in Hollywood or whatever. They have no choice in a way. But to study all your life, get a business degree, make $180,000 a year, and live in a city that you don't have any desire to be in is kind of silly. I don't care how much money you make. What you get with what I'm very wealthy in, and this is the thing that I'm 100%. I was kind of wealthy in America on this. I'm wealthy in time. Time is the most valuable commodity. A person that doesn't have time really has nothing. They're poor. A person that's saying they're busy all the time, a person that says they're too much on their plate to do all these, I have to go, I have appointments, whatever. This is a poor person. A rich person is a person that says, yeah, come on, let's go. What are you talking about? I'm not in a hurry, don't care. Let's keep talking on the phone. The poor person says, I got to go. They prep it when you call them and say, oh, I only got 2 minutes to talk, blah, blah, blah. That person is poverty. That's a mental type of poverty. And I was that person in America. I was working, 16 hours a day in a way, because I was a real estate broker and I had 2 or 3 different businesses, and I was motivated to earn $1 million. I'm still motivated to earn $1 million, but I think the intelligent one is the one that earns it by working 2 hours a day. Okay, the idea of working 16 hours, and anybody should be able to earn $1 million working 16 hours a day. There's more. It just, when you work that kind of labor, what you're saying to everybody is, all I care about is money and work, and I don't care about anybody else. And if your real priorities in life are to enjoy life, and to take the heart of it and to really enjoy it, you really got to say, no, I live where I want to, I do the kind of work I want to do, and I, enjoy my time the way I want to. So that's what I would tell any 20-year-old person in America, or 20 years ago in America. I also know that I'm not going to say that travel is the answer to anything. I mean, travel is just another thing to do. United States is a great place, and it's just that the United States has all these little hooks that hook you into this belief that I got to be doing something all the time or I'm not okay. This is really almost a crazy sickness to think that the only way I have value in my life is if I'm doing something. Like, if you're not doing something, it's a Protestant work ethic in a way. It's out of control, and everybody, when everybody's, all they care about is a job and working, and then they buy a house, and you understand, if you're working 12 hours a day, you only got 12 hours, you go to sleep 8 hours, so you enjoy this huge mansion for 2 hours a day. It's a little silly. It's almost insanity. But I would also always say, buy a house that, as cheap as possible, because the amount of money that you put in your house is not really, it's not an entertainment center. Your house is not an entertainment center. It's just a black hole. So buy a house that's just as cheap as possible, or rent. And then you can have the mobility to live anywhere you got. In our day and age, mobility is going to become the biggest luxury. The people that are mobile, the ones that can move around, will be considered kind of the, the rich and famous. They get to move around all the time. So guys with the house and the 2 cars and the big lawn, they basically have to stay there. So my perspective is that, and also what I would also recommend is, don't take the news serious at all. They just lie. And try to avoid watching the news. The news is good to watch, for about 20 minutes a day. But when you're sitting there watching CNN 24 hours a day, it's kind of insane. The reason is that they're like fear and anger mongers, and they try to say this is bad, this is bad. All they do is promoting fear. And I can go for months without watching any of these things, and guess what? Nobody cares. Okay, but if you're trying to read the news, just skim it. Don't sit there and think that you have to know everything about everything. The information's always there. You can always get on Wikipedia. You can always get on a search and find it if you really want to discover something about things. The idea that you're politically astute is the only person that cares is you, because you're basically trying to put people down that don't know. And it really is not a good conversation. Talking about politics is a waste of energy. Talking about religions, for the most part, is a waste of energy. Talking about somebody of the same religion, maybe in the same mindset, might be okay. But talking politics, it's just a black hole of emotions, okay? So, because the secret to happiness is to do more things in a day that make you happy than things that make you mad, okay? So if you're watching the news and it makes you mad, obviously that's not a great way to have a day full of happiness. Okay, do I think people should... I know everybody's keying in that somehow I'm going to promote travel. No, I don't. I think travel's good, but I think you also got a bunch of real crazy people out here. There's definitely a lot of lost souls. People... I say in America that, I say many times to people, it's the wanted, the unwanted, the people that come over here and live are the wanted, unwanted, and the hermits, okay? Expats are the wanted and the unwanted. and hermits. You got hermits that don't have any way of doing it. You see them having the dogs. They all got dogs because the only thing they can love is a dog, right? Then you see the wanted is basically they got things they're ashamed of in America, and they're doing a geographical cure to try to wipe away the fact. And the unwanted, basically, they don't really fit into America because they're a misfit, and they, you know, basically they fit in here because everybody wants their money. So it's not always a good place for the mind that is not stabilized. After you traveled around America, maybe worked at something for a couple years, and you know, and you got your idea of that you have a mastery of something. What makes you happy is when you're a master of something. Like I was a master real estate agent. I was a master carpenter. I'm a master on the internet. I'm becoming a master book reader, and I hope I become a master video maker. So I keep getting master of some things. I'm a master of the research of malaria. Become really knowledgeable on one thing and become the master of it, and then they can't take that away from you. Always have that pride. And really, you'll know you're the master is when you don't even want to debate about it because it just seems silly to talk about it. But mastery of something is happiness. But at the end of the day, always think, am I doing more things in a day that make me happy than things that make me unhappy? And that's there's many people that have this deferred life plan where they're going to do this when they retired. It don't work. Okay, it just don't work. They fail, and then their bodies are not even in the shape where they could. I'm in still excellent shape. I'm 58 years old, and the reason is because I walk around. I totally avoid cars whenever possible because they just are a insanity thing on my brain. They make me go faster and faster and faster. I like walking because it gives me the time to saunter. I'm good at sauntering. I like to walk around and just nonchalantly look at things. I like to wander around. I like to have my mind able to be full of imaginations and dreamings and things of what I'm thinking about. Okay, just remember, but if do not choose the location on the planet you want to live. Choose the place where you want to be, and you know, when you get married, you're going to have to do it as a team, right? And get married. Get married young. Don't get married old. And make that person the same as you. You become one person. You should become one person. And as you get married, remember that the people that stay married, as far as my thing, would never do anything that would hurt the feelings of their mate. And when I say that is they wouldn't, you know, if the mate says, starts to get really angry because they're going to the, you know, to the bar for 2 hours, they stop doing it. They become the same. They don't have, they protect the feelings of their mate. So I see that as like, hey, I'm married to her. She don't own me. Well, when you become married, you kind of own each other. It's, you know, they're kind of really mixed up on this marriage thing. So if you want to stay married for 60-some years like my parents would never do anything that would hurt the other at a really root level. I mean, that's why they stayed married for 60 years. Okay, that's my opinion right now. It's a good question. Thank you, Jeffrey C. He's from, where is he at? Oh, he didn't say here. Okay, thank you, Jeff. He's asked a few questions. Anybody that wants to ask a question, send it to me. We can